So, I wanted to talk a little bit about artificial intelligence. If you've never heard of non-duality, I encourage you to look at some of my other videos or just look it up and explore it a little bit. But essentially, it's the idea that there isn't it's not the idea. It's that when you really go to examine what really is. Thought and belief has this whole cover up story calling everything what it is. And without that, just in the now or in meditation, there really isn't separation. And so when you explain it, it sounds super philosophical and super kind of out there, but really it's so obvious. It's like the nose in front of your face. It's so close to you that you can't see it, and yet it's so immediate and so right there. Like, it sounds totally wild to say that there are no others, but when you're having a conversation with somebody and when you're really engaged in the conversation, in perception and feeling and everything, there's just that. There isn't this idea of me and you. And the more there's an idea of me and you, the more kind of separation and the more that communication breaks down and the more the need to try to defend comes up. And so that is the illusion and the fog of the lens of thoughts and beliefs that create the identity. And clarity is that there really isn't that separation. So the idea of me, myself, as the separate knower, and knowledge as needing a source, and me to know what that source is so I can trust that knowledge. It's all breaks down, and yes, it's very wise, and I'm not saying to totally throw it out the window, but it breaks down in that knowledge really doesn't have a source, and in the immediate now, the whole idea of trusting a source or trusting another person is based on this kind of fear, this kind of separation. And so if there's no separation and there's just this total sense of openness, the synchronicity totally reminded me of this because I brought out a water bottle and it's hot and I overdressed because I thought it would be cold and I'm very thirsty, and I found that this is a water bottle that was probably in one of my kids' sports bags that they had opened and taken a sip out of, and so it's open. So I don't trust it because I don't know what got into this and what has been sitting for a while. So it seems like common sense that what's open is not secure and can't be trusted. If you go into a house and you find it unlocked, you find the door wide open, you can't trust what's in there. Anything could be in there. And so what AI really is kind of a silly excuse for what has always been happening and sounds really wild, but it's not more wild than the idea of robots completely killing us and overtaking us and destroying humanity. But the idea of this is channeling. And channeling really is just pure flow of creativity coming to you. It feels amazing when you're in that creative flow state. And what everybody wants is to experience that. Nothing feels better than to experience that. As kids, we were silly enough to believe that we could be artists, we could be poets, we could be writers, we could be musicians, and we can. And there's AI, and that's it. We are getting everything that we want. And you notice that there is so much seeming polarity that we have these algorithms that are pushing forward what we're giving attention to, that are attention getting in ways that aren't so great. And more than ever, and ever, all you can do is focus on what you want to create and go straight to it. There is no excuse. We don't need to wait for AI to develop, and we don't need to fear that AI is going to be more intelligent than us, because guess what? We never really were the knower. And knowledge is streaming to us, and just like the water bottle, just like the symbol, everything in life is giving you everything you need, the reminder, the knowledge, here and now. We don't need stores up of it. just like awareness, consciousness itself. It doesn't need stores of itself. It just is. It is completely open. It is completely abundant. A couple of years ago, I decided to take my kids before Halloween to an old fort. And so I forget exactly the year or the time frame that it would have been built, but like maybe early 1800s, maybe prior to that. I'm not sure. But anyway, it was incredible. I can't imagine us building something like that today. And when I look at old homes and I look at the heaviness of the beams and the heaviness of the granite blocks and the rock foundations, it's incredible that without machinery, we built things so solid, so heavy. And now, thinking about military and comparing it to that fort with cannons and cannonballs and these rock walls that are really thick, the military literally flies. It's planes, it's missiles, it's intelligence, it's electronic, it's technology. And so strength used to be king. Strength was it, the strongest one. And now, or it's gone, it's over. Intelligence took over. And so now you don't need to physically move everything around, it's intelligence. But you know what? Intelligence was just as silly as strength, and it's gone. And what are we left with now? And I would say that it is, we don't know, which is exactly what creativity is. There is no more excuse to not create what you want to create. And with the political volatility, with some of the words, some of the things we're hearing leaders say now, it seems absolutely ridiculous. Like the most ridiculous thing. And people on either side that they identify with cannot begin to understand the other viewpoint. And it may seem as if these things are getting worse, or it might just be that we're starting to be aware of how ridiculous it is to have a leader and feel as if our ability to create is inhibited by anything outside in the first place. There really isn't the matter. So thinking of kind of the evolution of the forts to the airplanes to technology, the heaviness, the matter, it less and less becomes matter. And so technology is kind of an excuse. We aren't matter. There aren't two different things. There isn't me and what I'm made out of. There isn't the knowing, the awareness, the consciousness of the rock and the rock. Nobody has ever encountered matter outside of the awareness of it. And it's so simple. It's so plain as day. It's so close. It's so obvious that it's so overlooked. So as for the fear of AI taking over, yes, it's going to destroy the idea of the separate self. If you want to use the term ego, you can. There is no ego. There is no separate self. There is no idea of a separate self. Really, watch what's happening right here and now, fully aware of it, not with predetermined ideas, watching the thoughts come up, just in meditation. Even if you don't actually sit down and meditate, but just really watch and slow down, you'll see it's plain as day. And there's really nothing that can be known. And that sharpness, that awareness, like as I will be walking back on a trail as it gets dark, listening, like, oh, that spookiness of walking in the woods at dark, that heightened awareness, that aliveness. We don't know what's going to happen. No one can say this isn't going to end in disaster. And the unknowing is the mystery. It's the wonder. It's the beauty. It's the creation. And nothing real is at stake here. So create. Use AI as a tool to create, enjoy. There's never been a time like this because this is timeless. And there is no separation. So for God's sakes, love one another. Don't belittle, don't demean. Just every chance you have to love and respect, because it's all you. There is no separate you, but it's all you.